4 o'clock प्लीज आते हैं. Yes, good afternoon, students. So let's start with a new topic, that is the administration of this Swaraj. So before starting the topic, let me first introduce myself. Myself, Miss Bhosle Amrita, Amrita Bhosle Utekar. Fine. So today we'll be starting with a new topic. Before heading on with the topic, let me first wish you all a belated happy Children's Day. Fine. So yes, yesterday it was Children's Day. So it's belated one. So let's start with the topic now. Let's begin with the topic. Yes, let's get started.
Ashtapradhan Mandal, Council of 8 Ministers.
As see in the name, it is written as Ashtapradhan. So basically, it is a council of 8 ministers. Okay, so when the Shivaji Maharaj had set his whole Swaraj, at that time it was not possible for him to look into each and every matter. So at that time he decided to create a different sections for each and every member. Okay, so yes, please pay attention.
Time of his coronation, Shivaji Maharaj appointed a council of 8 ministers.
Now this word, a council of 8 ministers, is extremely important. Like different sections were being assigned to each and every minister, and this minister was responsible and was and had to pay attention to each and every matter going on in a particular respective area. Okay.
The administration was divided into 8 departments. A head was appointed for each department.
Yes, the whole matter, the whole working of the Swaraj, basically the every working of the Swaraj, they have divided it into the 8 parts, and each department he has appointed, like Shivaji Maharaj has appointed a head for that thing. Okay, so let's pay attention.
These 8 heads of departments constituted the Ashtapradhan Mandal.
Ashtapradhan Mandal. Okay.
Maharaj alone had the power to appoint a minister or to remove him from his position.
As the whole Swaraj was established and everything was in the hands of Shivaji Maharaj, exactly the power to appoint a particular person or to remove him from that particular thing was totally dependent and totally were in the hands of the Maharaj. So basically कोई भी जो एक डिपार्टमेंट है या कोई भी पोस्ट है उसमें से एक पर्सन अगर नहीं अच्छा वर्क कर रहा है तो उसको निकालने का जो पावर है या उसको उस चीज पे वापस लाने का या किसी को अपॉइंट करने का जो पावर है, it was totally and totally in the hands of Shivaji Maharaj alone. So nobody can influence that person because he wanted, उनको चाहिए था कि इनके जो 8 departments है वो एकदम strong, एकदम powerful रहे.
The ministers were answerable to Maharaj for the administration of their respective departments.
So अगर जो particular person उस department के लिए appoint किया गया था, अगर उस department में कुछ भी problem होता है या कुछ भी चीजें होती है या कुछ doubts आते हैं तो उसके बारे में in detail चीजें बताने की जो responsibility, it was totally responsible. The head person, the person who was appointed as the head was totally answerable, was responsible for answering कुछ भी अगर कुछ भी होता है एक particular department में तो.
Shivaji Maharaj selected the council on the basis of their merits and achievements. He did not give them jagirs, vatans or gifts or fiefs. They were paid handsome salaries instead.
Okay, so as you can compare this as with your school thing, like देखो जैसे school में ना you have different houses, you have sports captain, you have this that. So sports captain जिसको भी बनाया जाता है, like the school selects a student for the sports captain and that student has been selected on basis of the merits and the things achieved, right? तो उसने जो भी achieve किया होगा, the things which are been achieved, the things which has been like past years में past standards में जो अच्छे sports में जो person होगा, that person has been selected as a sports captain. Exactly, in a similar way, Shivaji Maharaj also selected a particular person on a particular department as the head depending upon the merits and the demerits. Also, they were not working for free of cost, rather, they were not gifted with the Jahangirs, the buttons, and this that. Rather, they were paid some salaries.
Ashtapradhan Mandal of Shivaji Maharaj. Here are the name of the ministers, their designation, and the work they did.
Okay, so here is a list of Ashtapradhan. Ashta as in eight ministers का जो मंडल as in council है. So we will just see the names of the minister, the designation, and the work done by the minister. Okay,
They did.
let's start.
1. Moro Trimbak Pingle. He was the Pradhan. His work was running the administration and making arrangements for the conquered territories. 2. Ramchandra Neelkant Mazumdar. He was the Amartya. His work was keeping the accounts of the state. 3. Annaji Datto. He was the Sachiv. His work was preparing royal edicts. Edicts means an official order or command. 4. Dattaji Trimbak Vaknis. He was the Mantri. His work was correspondence. 5. Hambir Rao Mohite. He was the Senapati. His work was organization of the army and protection of the kingdom. 6. Ramchandra Trimbak Dabir. He was the Sumant. Work was foreign relations. 7. Niraji Ravji. He was the Nyayadhish. His work was dispensing justice. Dispensing means to provide. 8. Mureshwar Pandit Rao. Designation was Pandit Rao. His work was looking after religious matters.
Fine. So this is just for the reference purpose that who were the members elected for the 8 departments and what was the work. Now heading towards the policy regarding agriculture. Now as we all know how India is an agrarian country. हम जो इंडिया है we are totally dependent upon agriculture. Exactly जैसे हमें agriculture का importance पता है, similarly शिवाजी महाराज also knew the importance of agriculture and उनको ऐसा था कि उस time पे majority सब लोग wars and चीजों में involved थे, majority of the soldiers. So he don't want, उनको ये नहीं चाहिए था कि agriculture के towards थोड़ा सा overlook हो सके. तो at that time he paid a maximum attention, बहुत ज़्यादा attention. उन्होंने जितना attention fighting wars में pay किया उतना ही attention उन्होंने agriculture के towards भी रखा. So different policies उन्होंने लाए regarding agriculture. We will see what were
the policy regarding agriculture. Agriculture was the main occupation in villages. Maharaj knew the importance of agriculture. That was why he paid attention to the welfare of farmers.
Exactly.
He entrusted the responsibility of organizing the land revenue system to his capable and experienced office bearer, Annaji Datto.
Exactly. So उनको ऐसे ये जो important part था farmers के regarding उनका हर चीज सुना मतलब पता होना चाहिए what exactly difficulties the farmers are facing या कभी कुछ war हो गया कुछ destroy हो गया तो वो चीजें उनको उन तक समझनी चाहिए तो ये सब चीजें उनको ऐसा था कि जो agriculture जो farmers agriculture कर रहे हैं उनको हर चीज proper मिलनी चाहिए and this was a very important work तो इन्होंने ही interested ये responsibility जो है उन्होंने one of the experienced and the officer को दिया जिनका नाम था अन्नाजी दत्तो. Okay, so because he don't wanted, उनको नहीं चाहिए था कि इस पे overlook हो, ये topic पे overlook हो, इसलिए उन्होंने वो responsibility उनको दे दी. Further,
he warned the officers that they should not collect more revenue than the amount that was fixed.
Now, as we know कि हर time पे we have to pay revenue. If we are हम अगर एक land पे work कर रहे हैं या हम कहीं पे job कर रहे हैं, we have to pay the taxes and we have to pay the revenue. तो उनके time पे ऐसा था ना, nowadays we are aware कि अच्छा इसके लिए कितना tax है, उसके लिए कितना tax है. बस उस time पे the farmers were not educated. उन लोग पढ़े लिखे नहीं थे. Also इतना properly सबको पता नहीं था कि exactly किस चीज को कितना costing है या कुछ है. तो उस time पे शिवाजी महाराज ने स्ट्रिक्टली ऑफिसर्स को वार्न करके रखा था दैट दे शुड नॉट कलेक्ट मोर रेवेन्यू देन द अमाउंट दैट वाज फिक्स. जितना अमाउंट फिक्स है आप उतना कलेक्ट करो. इट इज नॉट दैट यू शुड कलेक्ट मोर एज कंपेयर टू वन विच इज बिन फिक्स्ड. ओके, नाउ द नेक्स्ट वन.
He encouraged peasants to bring uncultivated land under cultivation.
So जो भी ऐसे barren land थी ना जिसपे कोई कुछ cultivate नहीं कर रहा था, उस टाइम पे शिवाजी महाराज encourage the peasant poor जो farmers थे उनको बोला कि अच्छा आपके पास uncultivated land है तो उस पे plow या उस पे जो भी bovine as in bullocks, oxes, cows जो भी लगेंगे, I will provide you with the bovine resource, मतलब जो भी animals का जो requirement है I will give you. प्लाव का कुछ चीज होगा तो I will give you all the equipments regarding for the agriculture. Also अच्छा क्वालिटी गुड क्वालिटी के सीड्स भी मैं प्रोवाइड करता हूँ. बट ही एनकरेज द पीजेंट्स टू कल्टिवेट द अनकल्टिवेटेड लैंड. तो जो लैंड बैरन है, जो लैंड अनकल्टिवेटेड है, उसको कल्टिवेट करने का जो एनकरेजमेंट है, ही गेव देम द एनकरेजमेंट.
Peasants means poor farmers. If the crop was lost due to excessive rains or drought, or if an enemy army had devastated the area of the village, remissions were granted in land revenue and other taxes. Devastated means destroyed. Remissions means cancellation.
Exactly. So agar Shivaji Maharaj was so polite and so he was considering so like वो बेसिकली पीसेंट और ये जो फार्मर्स है उनका इतना ख्याल रख रहे थे कि बेसिकली व्हाट ही सेड वाज कि अगर कभी देखिए एग्रीकल्चर इज टोटली डिपेंड अपॉन नेचर. ठीक है, अगर बारिश हुआ प्रॉपरली तो अच्छा कल्टीवेशन होगा. अगर बारिश ज्यादा भी हो जाता है तो भी क्रॉप्स क्या हो सकते हैं, डिस्ट्रॉयड हो सकते हैं. सो इफ द फार्मर कम्स इन फ्रंट ऑफ शिवाजी महाराज इफ सेज कि ये टाइम जो बारिश था वो बहुत ज्यादा हो गया इसलिए मेरे क्रॉप्स क्या हो गया, डिस्ट्रॉय हो गए, या फिर ये एनिमी अटैक हो गया मेरे लैंड पे तो मेरे क्रॉप्स डिस्ट्रॉय हो गए, या फिर कुछ XYZ रीजन ड्रॉट हो गया, मतलब पूरा लाइक बैरन हो गया, मतलब बारिश प्रॉपरली नहीं गिरा इसकी वजह से क्रॉप डिस्ट्रॉय हो गई. तो अगर ऐसा कुछ चीजें भी होती है तो उस टाइम का जो उनको टैक्स पे करना है वो क्या हो जाएगा, कैंसिल हो जाएगा. ही और शी द फार्मर, द पर्सन हु इज कल्टिवेटिंग वो एरिया में, he don't has to pay any kind of taxes. So this brought an encouragement
Maharaj
among farmers. Okay, also
had instructed his officers to provide peasants with bullocks, plows, and good seeds for sowing.
एग्जैक्टली एज आई हैव टोल्ड यू ना कि महाराज ने ऑलरेडी उनको एनकरेज किया कि देखिए जो पीसेंट्स में रेडी टू डू द फार्मिंग्स उनको एरिया अंडर कल्टिवेशन लाना ही था, बट उनके पास अच्छे क्वालिटीज के सीड नहीं थे, उनके पास इक्विपमेंट्स नहीं था फार्मिंग का, दे डोंट हैड अ बोवाइन रिसोर्सेज. तो महाराज ने बोला कि ओके फाइन, हम ये सब चीजें आपको दे रहे हैं, यू जस्ट हैव टू यूटिलाइज योर एनर्जी एंड यू जस्ट हैव टू यूटिलाइज योर टाइम. बस अपना टाइम दो, अपने एफर्ट्स दो और जितना लैंड अंडर कल्टीवेट कर सकते हो उतना आप क्या करो, कल्टीवेट करो. नाउ नेक्स्ट इज विलेज इकोनॉमी ऑफ दैट
पीरियड. Agriculture was the backbone of the rural economy. In villages, many occupations developed to supplement agriculture. Artisans in the village produced goods and fulfilled the needs of the local people. In this sense, a village was a self-sufficient unit.
Correct. So basically, majority of the farmers were encouraged to grow, to cultivate the land. तो वहाँ पे farming start हो गई थी. Then not only farming, but farming के साथ जो allied, as in उसके साथ जो एक्टिविटीज आती है ना, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल इफ आई हैव अ बोवाइन रिसोर्स तो उसके साथ अगर काउ हुआ तो काउ के जो मिल्क है वो जाके कोई बेचेगा. इफ आई हैव अ पोल्ट्री फार्मिंग तो उसके जो हेन्स या फिर चिकन जो मीट होगा दैट वी कैन यूज. तो इसके साथ जो अलाइड, उसके साथ जो हो रहा था ना वो सब चीजें, लाइक वो बेसिकली एक्टिविटीज हम यूज करते वो भी चीजें हो रही थी. सम ऑफ द पीपल उन लोग आर्टिस्ट का काम करते जैसे कि थ्रेड्स बनाना और मेकिंग अ मैट, मेकिंग पॉट्स, ये सब चीजें तो वो भी हो रहा था. तो बेसिकली द स्टेट बिकेम मोर सेल्फ सफिशिएंट. उसको किसी भी चीज के लिए कहीं दूसरे के ऊपर डिपेंड रहने की जरूरत नहीं थी. इट वाज सेल्फ सफिशिएंट. अगर कुछ लेन देन होगा तो वो विद इन द स्टेट में ही हो रहा था.
Farmers gave a definite share from their produce to artisans.
यस, सो उन्होंने फिक्स करके रखा था कि हम आपको पॉट देंगे, तुम हम लाइक दे यूज्ड टू एक्सचेंज द पॉट एंड द ग्रेन्स. वो ग्रेन्स एंड पॉट्स के बीच में एक्सचेंज होता था इन ऑर्डर टू गेट अ मतलब fulfill, they both fulfill their needs. जैसे इनको pot की कमी थी तो they gave the pot, he gave the pot, and इनको grains चाहिए था तो they were supplied with the grains.
This share was called baluta.
Okay, this is an important point to note. Baluta.
Trade and business.
Now talking about the trade and business of Swaraj. Okay, so when we call it trade, it means import and export. कुछ चीजें वहां पे आती है, कुछ चीजें वहां से जाती है. So it is import and export is called as a trade. Also the business, as if हम कुछ बेचने से, if we are getting some money or something like that, is also called as a business. So let's see उस time
Maharaj knew
क्या exactly trade और business हो रहा था. Now we are talking about the state of Maharashtra. So as Maharashtra, the whole, it has been attached to the one side, it has the Arabian Sea and one side is the land, correct? So वो पूरा जो western घाट है, western घाट का जो part है Maharashtra, so we have the sea का जो side है वो भी हमको मिल रहा था. So any kind of trading regarding the waterway was also possible for us to do.
that a kingdom does not prosper without an increase in trade. Merchants bring novel goods as also certain necessities into a kingdom. Goods became available in plenty. Trade prospers, adding to wealth. The view that Maharaj took of merchants is seen in the Ajanya Patra, where merchants are described as follows. Merchants are the ornaments of the kingdom and the glory of the king. It was the policy of Maharaj to protect industries. An excellent example of this is the salt industry.
Maharaj knew that if you want to grow वेल्थ वाइज, पैसे से अगर आपको अच्छा खासा, अगर आपको वेल्थ कमाना है, आपको आपके एरिया को प्रॉस्पर करना है, तो हमको क्या करना पड़ेगा, ट्रेडिंग जो है उसको अवेलेबल करके देना होगा. लाइक वी शुड अलाउ द डिफरेंट डिफरेंट पीपल्स टू कम टू आवर प्लेस, और वो वहां पे आके कुछ बेचना चाहेंगे. लाइक फ्रॉम अरब्स दे यूज्ड टू कम विद सम स्पेशल मैट्स एंड डेकोरेटिव आर्टिकल्स एंड दिस दैट, तो वो लोग आते थे जाते थे. लाइक मेनी ऑफ द मूवीज भी ना रिसेंटली, जैसे हमने बाजी, नो नॉट बाजीराव, लाइक मेजोरिटली मूवीज जो हम देखते हैं, तो मूवीज में वी गेट टू सी दैट जो एंशिएंट टाइप की मूवीज जो हम लोग देखते हैं, तो इन दैट मूवीज वी कम टू नो दैट जैसे बाहर के लोग भी यहाँ पे आते थे फॉर सेलिंग द मिरर्स एंड समथिंग डिफरेंट डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. तो वहां से वन ऑफ द फेमस एग्जाम्पल जो यहाँ पे दिया है, दैट इज द सॉल्ट
He
इंडस्ट्री.
protected the salt industry in Konkan.
See, I was talking about this, as we have this whole part. See, we have one side is the Arabian Sea, the whole Maharashtra part. It is surrounded, it is bordered with Arabian Sea. Okay, so see, he protects the salt industry.
At that time, traders imported salt from the Portuguese territory and sold in Swaraj.
So the salt, the basic necessity, like salt is such a basic necessity that basically we use in each and every food dishes, right? कोई भी dishes बना रहे हो तो आप उस पे use करोगे ही करोगे. So at that time traders imported salt from the Portuguese territory and sold in the Swaraj. तो वो जो basic necessity है, we have to get it, we have to import it from the Portuguese, and then हम क्या करते थे, पूरे सब स्वराज में उसको sell करते थे.
That affected the local trade in Konkan areas. So, Maharaj charged heavy duty on the salt imported into Swaraj from the Portuguese territory. The intention was that the salt imported from the Portuguese territory would then cost more, and as a result, its import would decrease and the sale of the local salt would increase.
करेक्ट. सो क्या हुआ, उन्होंने ऐसा किया, व्हाट ही डिसाइडेड वाज कि ये जो सॉल्ट पोर्टुगीज से आ रहा था, ही पेड अ हैवी ड्यूटी, बहुत ज्यादा ड्यूटी उस पर लगा दिया, सो दैट जब भी हम सॉल्ट तो बहुत बेसिक है, तो जब भी हम सॉल्ट लेने जाएंगे तो वी वुड थिंक अरे इतना पैसा ये पोर्टुगीज वाले सॉल्ट खरीदने से अच्छा, व्हाट आई विल डू इज आई विल पे अ वेरी लिटिल अमाउंट एंड आई विल गेट अ सॉल्ट फ्रॉम द लोकल वन, बोथ आर सेम, एवरीथिंग इज सेम. तो क्या होने लग गया कि पोर्टुगीज के साथ जो सॉल्ट लेने के लिए जो लोग लोग जो थे वो बहुत कम हो गए. So in that way पोर्तुगीज का सॉल्ट यहाँ पे बेचना इनडायरेक्टली वो एंड होगा. शिवाजी महाराज didn't directly go and say that नहीं हमको सॉल्ट नहीं चाहिए, because we want to maintain the relationship also ना with all the different states, countries. So basically वो उन्होंने नहीं किया, rather उन्होंने वहाँ का कॉस्ट बहुत बढ़ा दिया. तो कॉस्ट बढ़ा दिया, तो अगर मुझे एक पर्टिकुलर चीज बहुत कम अमाउंट में मिल रही है तो why will I spend my money and buy a very expensive one, correct? So वैसे उन्होंने थोड़ा सा smartness use.
The military organization.
Now we are going to study about the military organization कि what exactly was military. जैसे देखो war, it was like war अगर हम करते तो हमको आर्मर चाहिए, the protective coat जो होता है ना आर्मर, वो आर्मर चाहिए, हॉर्स चाहिए, वेपन्स चाहिए. तो हम लाइक जो स्वराज था, इट वॉज नॉट दैट प्रॉस्परस कि इजिली सब कुछ चीजें उनके पास है एंड दे ही जस्ट वांट्स टू लाइक बेसिकली वॉर पे जाएंगे. नो, मेनी ऑफ द पीपल हैड देयर ओन. उनका खुद का हॉर्स था, उनका खुद का आर्मर था, खुद के वेपन्स थे, वो डिफरेंट कैटेगरी में आते थे. और देयर वर मेनी ऑफ द पीपल जिनका खुद का आर्मर, हॉर्स, ये सब चीजें नहीं थी. सो एट दैट टाइम शिवाजी महाराज यूज्ड टू गिव देम दिस थिंग्स. जैसे एग्रीकल्चर के लिए फार्मर्स को हेल्प किया था, एग्जैक्टली वैसे ही शिवाजी महाराज ये जो सोल्जर्स है उनको भी हेल्प करते थे. सो हाउ दे यूज्ड टू हेल्प, एंड ये जो दो डिफरेंट कैटेगरी हो गया था, जिनका खुद का वेपन है, खुद का एनिमल है, हॉर्स है, खुद का आर्मर है, दे केम इनटू डिफरेंट कैटेगरी. एंड जिनको शिवाजी महाराज ने हेल्प किया, इट केम इनटू अ डिफरेंट कैटेगरी. सो लेट्स सी व्हाट वर
There were two main divisions of the army of Shivaji Maharaj. Infantry means soldiers fighting on foot, and cavalry. Cavalry means soldiers who fought on horseback.
Correct. See, now I don't need to explain this in more detail because आजकल के movies में like बाहुबली is one of the example. Like ये जो war ये वो हमको बहुत अच्छे से पता है. Many of the soldiers they used to run taking the weapon in the hand. तो जो running थे उनको infantry, और जो अगर कोई, and the second were the soldiers who used to fought on the horseback पे बैठ के वो क्या करते थे, fighting करते थे. Okay.
In the infantry, there were soldiers such as the Havaldar, Jumledar, etc. The chief of the infantry was called Sarnobat. He was the highest officer in the infantry.
Infantry
In the
means
cavalry.
जो pair पे, like we used to run and they used to run. So Sarnobat was the highest among the infantry. Okay. Now next one, cavalry.
There were two types of cavalrymen, namely Shiledars and Bargirs.
Okay, Shiledars and Bargirs. As I have told you that some of the soldiers had their own horse and own weapons and own armor. Now again ऐसे armor मतलब जो shield होता है ना, कि कोई fight करना है, वो जो protective shield जो हम पहनते हैं उसको armor बोलते हैं. तो many of the people, not many, some of the soldiers were having their own, और some of the soldiers को देना पड़ता था. तो now let's see what is Shiledars.
The Shiledar had his own horse and weapons. The Bargir was provided with a horse and weapons by the state. In the cavalry, Bargirs were more in number.
So basically, Bargirs जो शिवाजी महाराज उनको हेल्प करते थे ना, he used to provide them with all these things, so that were more in number. Okay.
The ranks of the cavalry officers were similar to those of the infantry officers. The highest officer in the cavalry was the Sarnobat.
Now this is the important point to understand. The highest officer in the cavalry was the Sarnobat. जैसे हमने highest officer in the infantry पे देखा था, तो here it is Sarnobat. Okay, so underline it or make it.
Netaji Palkar, Pratap Rao Gujar, Hambir Rao Mohite were some of the famous Sarnobats of the cavalry.
So now this thing can be asked for the match, the pair, fill in the blanks, or any kind of the objective. तुमको ये आ सकता है. So the highest one is known as the Sarnobat, and these are the few famous ones included in the Sarnobat category.
Let's learn. Obtain information about the armed forces of India. State the name of.
Let's move on to the intelligence department.
It was necessary to protect the Swaraj from its enemy.
See, as it is said ना, जैसे हम बोलते हैं कि अगर कोई भी वॉर को जीतना है तो जितना हमको वहाँ पे ताकत लगाना पड़ेगा, जितना ही हमको फोर्स लगाना पड़ेगा, उतना ही हमको क्लेवरली, शार्पली, एकदम शार्पली खेलना, मतलब फाइट भी करना पड़ेगा. So it was necessary to protect the Swaraj from the enemies. So enemies से protect
For
करना
this,
very
it was
necessary.
necessary to get precise and timely information about the movements of the enemy.
So उस time पे ना it was very important. It was very important for any one of the members from our team to be in that team. या फिर वहाँ की कोई information एकदम properly precise, एकदम correct proper information pass करना. So इस सब चीजों के लिए एक अलग department था जिसको we call it as intelligence department. So कोई भी मूवमेंट हो रहा है, अगर कभी किसी ने किसी पे वॉर कर दिया, कोई प्लेस पे वॉर हो रहा है, तो वो सब चीजें पहले ही बिफोर हैंड अगर हमको पता होगा तो वी कैन टेक अ इफेक्टिव मेजर्स रिगार्डिंग दैट.
It was the job of the intelligence department to obtain information about the movements of the enemies and submit it to the Maharaj. The intelligence service of Maharaj was very efficient.
It was very efficient because Maharaj had the authorities कि किसको कौन से डिपार्टमेंट में रखना है, तो very precisely, very properly he has selected very clever और एकदम efficient जो लोग थे ना, उनको वहाँ पे क्या कर दिया था, उनको वहाँ पे select करके रख दिया था. So that way तो intelligence service का जो department है was very efficient.
Bahirji Nayak was the head of the intelligence department. He was extremely skilled in his job. He collected accurate and detailed information about Surat before the raid on Surat.
So basically वहाँ पे उनको इतना प्रॉपर इन्फॉर्मेशन मिलता था, उतना कनेक्शंस होना चाहिए कि अगर अपोजिट टीम में हमारा ही कोई मेंबर हो या कुछ तो बिफोर अटैकिंग ऑन सूरत दे ऑलरेडी हैड एन इन्फॉर्मेशन कि अच्छा ये टाइम पे या विद इन 1 or 2 days सूरत पे अटैक होने वाला. तो एज दे वर नोइंग कि सूरत पे अटैक होने वाला, बिफोर हैंडेडली सब आर्मीज को प्रॉपरली वहाँ पे रख दिया था, सब चीजें वहाँ पे रेडी थी, ऑल द तोफ एंड एवरीथिंग द हॉर्स, सोल्जर्स, एवरीथिंग वाज वेरी स्टेडी कि द मोमेंट वहां से अटैक होगा तो हम यहाँ से अटैक कर लेंगे. सो ये सब किसकी वजह से पॉसिबल हुआ? बिकॉज ऑफ द इंटेलिजेंस डिपार्टमेंट.
Forts.
Now let's talk
Forts
about the
were of
forts.
great importance in the medieval age.
Correct, because जैसे we know that all the forts led by Shivaji Maharaj was on the top of the hills. Now the two reason behind the top of the hills. अगर कोई चीज है top of the hills पे है तो कहीं पे भी अगर कोई enemy आने का सोचा तो we are on the top, we can easily see it. किसी को बताने के पहले हमको दिख जाएगा. Secondly, if somebody is trying to climb on the fort, ऊपर से अगर कुछ हमने उस पे फेंक भी दिया तो कि they can easily wash it away. We can easily wash the enemies away. So let's see.
Possession of a fort made it possible to keep an eye on the surrounding area. In case of foreign invasion, it was possible to protect the people taking shelter in the fort.
Exactly. The fort was so long and so huge and there was so much space inside the fort कि अगर कोई अगर ज्यादा अमाउंट में अगर कभी कुछ फाइटिंग हो जाती है, अगर कुछ हो जाती है तो ऑल द पीपल वर एबल टू बी प्रोटेक्टेड एंड टेकिंग द शेल्टर इनसाइड द फोर्ट एट द वॉल ऑफ द फोर्ट्स वर वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग. इट वाज नॉट इजीली ब्रेकेबल. वो इजीली
It was possible to stock the fort with food grains, war materials, ammunition, and military garrison. Ammunition means bullets, shells, projectiles, missiles, etc. Garrison means troops. The importance of forts in the foundation of Swaraj is well stated in the Ajanya Patra. The kingdom was created by the late revered and exalted majesty forts alone. There were about 300 forts in the Swaraj.
Now this is one of the extremely important point to note that there were 300 forts in Swaraj, which is really recommendable. इतना fort बनाना और उतना maintain करना was really a very big thing. So
Maharaj spent a considerable amount of money on the building
and repairs of the fort. तो fort को strong रखना because whenever वहाँ पे fighting होगा या कुछ होगा तो everyone used to come and stay inside the fort. Also all the food grains सब storage भी fort में होता था. तो fort को छोटे मोटे बहुत as we all know ना forts हमने कभी ना कभी you might have visited the fort, कभी movies में देखा है, कभी कोई pictures में देखा है. So forts were extremely huge spacious things थे और हमेशा ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा amount वो कभी भी building and repairs of the fort में ही use करते, because he used to never let बोलते ना कि कम like जाने दो, टूट गया तो टूटने दो. No, एनी टाइम कुछ भी अगर मेंटेनेंस है तो फर्स्ट ही यूज्ड टू स्पेंड द मनी ऑन मेकिंग द फूड, बिकॉज फूड वाज अ थिंग वेयर दे ऑल वर सेफ. ओके, तो उसको मेंटेन करना वाज अ मोस्ट प्रायोरिटी.
He built hill forts like Pratapgarh, Pavangarh, and Rajgarh. There was a Kiledar, a Sabnis, and a Karkhanis on every fort.
Okay, so each fort 300 forts, 300 के 300 forts पे there was a किलेदार, Sabnis and Karkhanis. Now what is this selection?
The Karkhanis looked after the storage of food grains and the maintenance of war material on the fort.
Okay, so all the maintenance regarding the storage of the food grain, maintenance of the war materials, ये सब चीजें कहाँ पे हो रही थी? सब चीजें कौन हैंडल कर रहा था? कारखानेस जो है post पे, he was handling. He was.
Do you know?
Okay.
The description of the building of forts by Shivaji Maharaj.
Now let's start with the sea forts.
Maharaj knew the importance of sea forts too. One of the sea forts that he built was Sindhudurg at Malvan.
Now this is one of the famous. This is one of the famous fort. Okay, so it is situated in the middle of the river. पूरा जो अपना fort है वो what I can say, it is built at Malvan. ठीक है, तो name is Sindhudurga and it is an excellent
sea fort. To give strength to the construction of the fort, 5 khandi of lead was poured into its foundation. A sea fort called Padmadurg was built in front of Rajapuri in order to counter the Siddhi power. About this fort, Maharaj has said in a letter that by constructing Padmadurg, he had set up another Rajapuri to overshadow the Rajapuri of the Siddhi.
Okay, so basically all these things tell us that how important the sea forts were to them and how importantly they paid attention, कितना properly paid attention किया उन्होंने fort के ऊपर, because fort was the whole and soul. क्योंकि कभी भी कुछ fight होता था, कुछ भी होता था, all the people used to feel secure in the fort. So उन लोग उस time पे fort को बहुत ही majority
enemies on the west coast of India.
Okay. Now, as I said, कि as Maharashtra has one-sided completely with the sea, तो majority times navy sea के साथ बहुत ज़्यादा interaction होता था, and जितना वो positive way में था कि कोई भी any kind of transportation, any kind of import and export of goods was been taken care of, but at the same time ना वहाँ से enemies का भी आना उतना ही easy था. Okay, so
of Goa, the Siddhi of Janjira, and
see, let's read from the starting.
Enemies on the west coast of India, the Portuguese of Goa, the Siddhi of Janjira, and the British factors of Surat and Rajapur created obstacles in the work of expanding the Swaraj.
So they were against expansion of Swaraj. So all these 4 things, Goa, Siddhi, Surat, Rajapuri, so all ये सब जो थे ना, they were against the Maharaj, against the expansion. ये जो expand कर रहे थे ना Swaraj को, उसके against they used to fight. So it was necessary to curb their activities and protect the west coast.
Necessary to curb their activities and to protect the west coast. For this purpose, Maharaj raised a navy.
Correct. So navy means all the people who will take care of the things, जो भी चीज है ये पानी के साइड पे, ये सी के साइड पे, कोस्टल साइड पे जो हो रहा है, उस चीजों को attention देने के लिए navy was been selected.
That the one who has a navy
controls the sea. Now this is very important point, that once that who has a navy controls the sea. तो उनको ऐसा था कि जिसके पास navy strong है तो वो sea पे भी क्या करेगा, राज करेगा. It is kind of a controls the sea.
Maharaj had great foresight.
वो हमेशा प्रेजेंट के बारे में कभी नहीं सोचते थे, वो हमेशा फ्यूचर के बारे में सोचते थे। तो उनको ऐसा था कि जो आगे फ्यूचर है, जो फोर्थ सेट है, उसके रिगार्डिंग ही वो हर एक स्टेप जो प्रेजेंट में लेते थे।
There were 400 ships of various kinds in his navy.
See, forts were 300, ships were 400. So all the side ना, जैसे fort में भी वो बहुत strong थे, ship में भी different kinds of ship 400 के थे, which is very
They
strong.
included battleships like the Guruk, Galbat, and Pal. Ships were built in the creek of Kalyan Bhivandi, Vijayadurg, and Malvan.
So the ships were built in the creeks. जैसे we have creek at Kalyan and Bhiwandi side, we have creek at Vijayadurga, we have creek in the Malvan. So ये side पे जहाँ पे इतना कुछ ज़्यादा मतलब इतना ज़्यादा कोई war का कुछ possibilities नहीं था, तो उस creeks में क्या होता था, वहाँ पे boat build किया जाता था. See, this is how the boat is about to build. You can't build कहीं दूर नहीं build कर सकते ना, sea के नज़दीक ही build करना, so that वो sea में वापस से चला जाएगा. Yes.
Mainak Bhandari and Daulat Khan were the chief naval commanders. Concerned for the welfare of his subjects, Maharaj did not work only with the limited ambition of conquering enemy territories and establishing dominance like other things. His main objective was to make his subjects independent. He was aware that if his subjects were to really get the joy of freedom, it was necessary to have a disciplined administration, take comprehensive care of people's welfare, and protect the conquered territories. Comprehensive means complete. Maharaj was not merely a ruler, he was a watchful administrator who cared for his people's welfare.
Okay, so this indicates that he didn't वो बहुत ज़्यादा selfish नहीं थे. He had concern regarding his subject. Subject means the people who stays in his area में. तो उनको बहुत ज़्यादा concern था हर चीज़ों को लेके. He didn't want कि वो बस काम करते थे. He wanted the subjects to grow. वो बहुत ज़्यादा grow होने चाहिए. And also he wanted to be independent. वो किसी पे भी depend ना हो. इसलिए वो he was promoting, he was encouraging the farmers. तो वो farmers को encourage कर रहे थे, then वो soldiers को encourage कर रहे थे. तो basically he was encouraging each and every people at different objectives. जो भी अलग अलग objectives था, उस पे वो क्या कर रहे थे, उनको encourage कर रहे थे. ठीक है, so this is clearly seen in his administration of the
his
state.
administration of the state.
Fine. So fine, we have to choose the correct option. You can write the answers in the chat box. So Dash was the backbone of the rural economy. Yes, correct. Next one, the chief of the infantry was also called as Dash. You have the options as Sarnobat, Havaldar and Zumledar. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. The Dash had his own horse and weapons. Havaldar, Zumledar and Shiledar. So you have to select a correct option. Yes, you can write the correct answer in the chat box. Now we have to select the odd man out of this. Bullocks, reins, plough and seeds. Yes, we can get rain as the correct answer. Okay, fine. Yes, Darshana, yes, your answer is right. Correct. Please write your name so that I can read it, na? Swara, yes, good Swara. Good attempt. Rains, correct. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 2, select the odd man out of this. Yes, Prakash. Good one. Yes, let's see the answer now. Yes, Zumledar is the correct one. Very good, Prakash and Darshana. Let's move on to the next question. War materials, artisans, ammunitions, military garrisons. Yes, Mayuri, good one. Now moving on to question number 4. Pratapgarh, Rajgarh, Padmadurga and Pavangarh. Yes, based on the location of the forts, you can select the odd man out among them. Yes. Padmadurga. Correct, Prakash. Question number 4. Karkhanis, Kilidar, Sarnobat and Sabnis. Depending upon the work they do, we have to select regarding the... We have to select the correct option. Okay, so let's find the answer. Sarnobat, as the Karkhanis, Kilidar and Sabnis were all allocated for the fort work. See, here again you have the, yes, correct, here again you have the 4 options. Ammunition, Pal, Gurab and Galbat. So rest are the name of the ship and the rest is a different word. So can you find the odd man out? Yes, correct. Very good, Darshana. Very good. Now see, Kalyan Bhiwandi, Pune, Vijayadurga and Malvan. So these are the places where the ships were made, and one is the odd man out. You can easily find out the place where which one is the odd man out. Correct. Pune. Very good. Very good, Prakash. Very good, Sangeeta. Now let's move on to the answer in one words. Designation of Yes, you have to find the designation of the Morotimbak Pingle. Correct. It is Pradhan. Correct. And the correct answer to this is Amatya. Good one, Sangeeta. Good one. Designation of Annaji Datto, and he was the Sachiv. He was the Sachiv of the Swaraj. Moving on to the next one. Designation of the Tajit Rimbak Vaknis. He was in the Mantri team. Moving on to the fifth question, designation of the Niraji Ravaji. Yes, correct. Nyayadhish. Fine, let's take the last question. Work of the Moreshwar Pandit Rao. Looking after the religious matter, foreign relationships, or giving justice. Fine, and the answer is looking after the religious matter. So let's end this session here. So, see you all in the next lecture. Bye, students.